You're on top of your game, Holly.
I know that one. Yep.
Right. So, hey folks, Mark Elias here with New Albany Realty. Today I'm here with Holly Prestileo from Dreams on Horseback. Hey, Holly.
Hi.
So I know I didn't get a chance to rehearse that very all that much. Did I get the full name and name of the organization correct? Did I say that correctly?
You did. Yeah,
Right.
perfect.
Good way to start this off. Okay. So, Holly, I am just so overwhelmed with emotion about what you folks do. Dreams on Horseback, you guys provide various equestrian based services to service members, to atypically developing children, perhaps at risk high school students who may have their own challenges with either socialization, thriving in school, maybe getting in trouble. Are there any other groups I missed that you target to provide these services?
We also service Alzheimer's patients through Sunrise, right? And then we have a vocational program, and then we have our military program.
Right. So describe the atmosphere. What is it like to be, like today it's sunny and beautiful, 65 degrees. What's it like? I got to imagine it smells like poop and hay, at least.
That is true.
Okay.
It is true, but the atmosphere, it's hard to describe. It's just a very calming. If you have to love the barn smell, which everybody that goes there does,
I
but
do.
seeing the horses in the beautiful weather, it's just a calming place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you get from it personally? Like, why do you go there? What do you get from it?
Simple. It makes me really happy. It does. Whether it's cleaning stalls or helping with hay or during my volunteer shifts, every bit of it makes me extremely happy and fulfilled. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You're really an interesting woman and person, human being rather, in that you volunteer your time with Dreams on Horseback, and then you also spend your time working and caring for elderly in hospice. Is that correct?
Yes, I volunteer with hospice. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
you're kind of at the both ends of the spectrum, kind of end of life and then a rebirth to some degree with Dreams on Horseback. That's total opposites in terms of stages of life.
Yeah, you could look at it like that. I think for me, it is all about helping or feeling like I'm helping someone. And again, it's just really fulfilling. And, anything that makes you feel good. I know that might sound strange in relation to hospice, but it's, you're providing something to someone and it means something to them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I bet from coming from hospice, it reminds you how lucky you are to be young and well and able to be working in the barns with volunteers. I mean, that's you can't help but be reminded, right?
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I feel so lucky about to be able to volunteer at Dreams and work at Dreams is it does provide you with that, sense of hope and bright outlook. So, that's a great place to go after you may have experienced something a little sad.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. Horses are an extraordinary animal. I don't know all that much about horses, although I love them and any opportunity I've had, I've always wanted to interact with them. Most people think that dogs look up to humans, cats look down to humans, and horses see humans as their peers. What's your experience been?
My experience, because I had no experience with horses before I started there, I think I had told you that my experience was maybe a trail ride or two. So I learned a lot about horses and how sensitive they are to what we're feeling, and just how in tune with um, our emotions. And so, yeah, I would agree with that statement for sure.
How much of it do you think we are anthropomorphizing, projecting our human emotions on the animal? Because I mean, that's just natural. I do it with my own dog. Like, she'll, I joke around with my wife. She's already had dinner, and then she'll come to the dinner table, and I'll say, honey, she's asking us for dinner. And my wife will be like, she's not asking, she's begging because we're eating dinner. How much of it do you think we project?
100%, 100% of that. I really do. I mean, you can tell by the horse's demeanor if you're having a bad day. You can see it through their actions or just even their eyes. Or if you're feeling calm, if you're feeling anxious, it's through them for sure. They can feel 100% of it.
In other words, they're in tune to us. Would you say that probably they're more in tune to us than we are to them for the most part?
I would think so. I mean, I know probably a horse professional might know better, but
Yeah.
from my experience, I would say so. And I think as the more you work with the horses, I think you're more in tune to them as well.
Yeah. So were you a brat as a younger kid? Because you seem to like the biggest brat in the stable.
Right. I do. Those are the horses I'm drawn to, are the brats. They're the little spunky ones, but they're also ones with big hearts that, are very patient and
Uh,
very kind. So they kind of run the spectrum, but I don't know. I love that personality, but I don't think I was a brat when I was younger. I'm sure I had my moments. I'd have to ask my family that one.
got it. Okay. Yeah. So Daisy, I understand, is one of the biggest horses at the stable.
Yes. And definitely the biggest brat. Yes.
And when you say big horse, how big are we talking?
I want to say she's 16 hands. I'm not sure if I'm correct in that.
Like this or like this?
Yes, like this. Yes, like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So she's
16.
pretty big. Yeah.
And like in layman's terms, how many feet is 16 hands?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Got it. I got to imagine like at least 9 feet, maybe 8 feet.
I don't know. I guess if you're talking, to the top of her back or if the top of her head, I'm not sure. But I know, um, I have to really reach up to get her halter on her. So she's pretty big.
Do you ever worry that this, 1,500 pound out, they are at least 1,000, 1,500 pounds, yes?
Yeah, they run the gamut in our barn, but yeah, we have some, that are just under 1,000 and, obviously some that are way more than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand the horses are, very much selected for their demeanor, their level of activity, their sensitivity to humans, and obviously being comfortable being rode. I got to imagine horses have bad days. Does Daisy ever have a bad day, and what does that look like?
Sure, they can have bad days, but the thing about therapy horses, they do go through a series of tests and trials, and so they're essentially what we call bomb proof, and they know when they're working with us and when they have to be on, and they can sense from the kids. It's hard to describe, but they know when one of our riders is near them. They are just so patient, and even if they're having a bad day, their whole demeanor changes, and they're very docile, I guess I would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're amazing animals.
Yeah, I think horses are so majestic. I can't wait to volunteer and be around the stables and hopefully maybe ride or walk with your riders. What's a surprising fact about horses that you learned while working with them?
It's one that we've, I guess, already touched on, but it's just how they can read us. I'm just amazed that that size of an animal can be that gentle or that understanding. Again, patient. I'm just surprised. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Before dreams, I just thought of a horse as, an animal that you can get and ride a trail on. And really, they're animals that we work with.
Yeah, that's interesting. So your husband is to blame for you being involved with Dreams on Horseback, yes?
He is, yes. That was a birthday present to me one year, was some riding lessons. And I had, like I said, I had never really been around horses before, but I've always loved them. And so with my riding lessons, they learned that I volunteered elsewhere. And so they asked if I would be interested in volunteering with them. And so that's how that started. And, you know, that's one of the really cool things with Dreams is you can have no experience at all, or actually not even be comfortable around horses, and they will take you and help you, make you comfortable. They'll teach you so many things. I mean, I went from knowing nothing to helping to take the temperature of the horses, and
Wow.
learning a lot about tacking and grooming and lunging. And so you can learn as much as you want, and or as little as you
That sounds like an icky task.
want.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a pass on that responsibility. Can you give me another job, Holly?
Sure. How about stall cleaning?
Okay, done. Hey, I like getting dirty. I don't mind that. So what are, you've evolved from being a volunteer to now having operational responsibilities. For the most part, where are you focused? What are you doing when you're at the stalls?
Well, it's split. So my job with Dreams is with the special events. So I create and put on all the special events, before, during, and after. And so that's usually, I actually work from home for that a lot of the time, but I'll do that a little bit at the barn. And then I spend anywhere from 5 to say 8 hours a week, depending on if I'm subbing or not. And that's as a volunteer. So, and that's with, it can be from sidewalking, handling the horses, or hay, or cleaning stalls. So,
Got it. Got it.
yeah.
So, I got to imagine, just like you're volunteering with hospice and patients that are at end of life, um, it's far more, I think, uplifting to perhaps share about, at least in my mind it is, to share about a story with maybe one of your guests or riders at Dreams of Horseback. Is there any particular experience you had that was really something you will remember for the rest of your life, just totally pierced you and touched your heart?
Absolutely. Actually, I have a lot of them, but I can share one in particular.
Yeah.
And so I have a rider that I've been with since she started. And when she started with us, there was little eye contact, really no acknowledgement of, my presence or anyone else's. Definitely some frustrations, quiet, nervous. And excuse me, week to week, you would see little changes, whether it be eye contact or verbalizing or acknowledgement. And I remember specifically the one day that she came to the barn, walked in, looked me in the eyes, said, "Hello, Holly," or she calls me a different name, and gave me a big hug. And that was huge because physical contact is not a favorite with her. So that to me, it was a huge day, one that I won't forget, and it meant a lot to me. And, it sounds like a small thing, but those small things are actually really big things in our world. So,
Yeah, they're enormous. They're so big that they shift the way you be with people, maybe forever. That experience will stay with you forever. It's no small thing to see an atypically developing child with the type of affects that this child had, and then to blossom. It's kind of like you watered this beautiful plant that was closed, and now as a result of this program, it opened up. And that's a really beautiful thing. It's a really, really amazing thing.
it really is. I have to say, as volunteers, I think I may have said we get as much, if not more, out of the program than maybe our participants do. But one of the things that, especially if you get to volunteer, that you'll find is week to week, there's just so much to celebrate, and it's just a really fulfilling, feel good experience. So,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. So tell me, if people want to volunteer and be a part of the organization, what action do they take and where do they go?
So they can visit our website, Dreams on Horseback, and or go to Facebook, like us on Facebook. They can contact our volunteer coordinator, who is Leslie, and it would be Leslie at dreamsonhorseback.org, and Leslie is Lesley. So those are a couple ways, and we'll email information on how to sign up for one of our training seminars. And it's, just a couple of hours, and it just goes through what we're about, and what you need to do for the next step to start volunteering,
Got
and
it.
what you may want to volunteer.
Yeah. So there's the initial training. That's to brief people on what to expect and safety procedures and policies for the company, and so forth and so on. And then after that, you work out a schedule, I imagine, where there's some systematic commitment over the course of 2 months or something.
Yes. So after the training, the next step would be to come and observe, to just kind of familiarize, really hands on, and see how everything works. And then the next step would be to get onto a schedule where you are a sidewalker or arena assistant, or whatever it is, that in what capacity that you're volunteering. And then the commitment we like to see from, especially with our volunteers that are working with our riders, we like to see a little bit of a lengthy commitment just for the consistency of it. So if our session is, I don't know, 6 weeks, then we would love to see a 6 week commitment for that 1 week or 1 hour or whatever it is, for the 6 weeks.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, again, for more information, check out dreamsonhorseback.org, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. Check out the Facebook page, Dreams on Horseback. And then if you are interested in volunteering, reach out to Leslie. That's Lesley
Ley.
at dreamsonhorseback.org. Holly, I so appreciate the chance to spend time with you, and I really look forward to going to the stables, meeting you, meeting this pain in the tushy brat, as you call her, Daisy, and now knowing me a little bit, and the fact that I'm kind of zany, and I have some layers to me. I'm often not a surface kind of guy. I like to get to know people. I'm a curious kind of guy. I love animals. Is there a particular horse you think that I might have a crush on, or that might have a crush on me?
Well, I'm going to guess that you're going to fall in love with Philippe, who is really everybody's favorite. He's just this lovable fjord that has a really cool mohawk most of the season. And I think he would be a lapdog if he could be. He's kind of our greeter, and he wants as much attention and love as he can get. So that's my guess.
Okay.
That you're going to fall in love with Philippe because he's pretty cool.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I cannot wait. So Leslie and I will be connecting on Monday, and I'll let everyone know what my experience has been. Holly, thank you so much for sharing about the organization, and we just can't tell you enough how touched we are, how touched I am to hear about your experience and what you do for humanity. You are a rare breed, Holly.
Well, thank you very much, Mark, for bringing Dreams on Horseback to light for so many more people. It is a great organization.
Good.
So thank you very much.
That's my pleasure. Thanks for being with me. I'm Mark Elias with Albany Realty. See you next time.